George, who should be reading poetry?
When you asked me that a couple of minutes ago, I thought, is there anyone that shouldn't read poetry? Poetry presents its own history in like a chain. It's each generation is locked into another. And that's what poetry should give you, that throwback in time, in a respect for those that preceded us, that gave us the platform we have today. I cannot imagine anyone not being encouraged to read poetry, because that's the most direct way. The Psalms in the Old Testament, can't beat those. Read the works of John Clare, and there's an echo of relationship there. And Clare and the Old Testament in regards to the earth. That's very important to remember in poetry. And anyone who's interested, anyone who could read should be reading poetry. It's the way it's presented as if it's an esoteric subject designed for, can I tell you what my father used to say? And I've heard a few times other people, when he first discovered I was writing poets, fag-outs write poems. And I heard someone about a month ago address someone else in that language. And I thought that language was gone. And here it is, 50 some odd years later. Though I'm 80, but that's what my father told me when I was in my late 20s. And that type of attitude is still present. I don't know where such a thing comes from. The person who said that should be reading poetry. From Allen Ginsberg to, yeah, that's right, to Rethke, to John Clare.
John Clare always comes up in a conversation with you. What is it about John Clare that so captures your imagination or holds your interest? Or what does he represent, you know?
Yeah. I'll give you two examples. He used to keep a pocket diary, not all the time, but often. And he would record his observations. And his observations were so esoteric, so tiny, but yet that's the way he looked at nature, and we don't see it. He goes along, walking along the path, and looks down, and there is a garden snail walking in a garden. I'd say walking in a garden, crawling. And he takes his pocket watch out, times it, and records in his diary it took 30 seconds for the snail to walk 1 inch. He's not out to prove anything, but simply state what he sees. And he got very upset when they started to put the trains throughout England. And Helpston was his hometown, and had to go through a marsh. And it was full of, not lilacs, orchids, wild orchids. And he was upset. They were going to tear it all out, and no one even gave it a thought. And it's that heartfelt, at times almost inarticulate in its intimacy with nature. That's what I would say about Clare. He never takes the bird out of where the bird is. He presents the bird where it lives and what it does. And in his technique of observation, he gives us a sense of observation as well that we weren't thinking about.
George, is there a John Clare poem that you would read for me right now?
I'd be glad to read a poem of John Clare's. I think everybody should read a poem of John Clare's. He puts you right in the middle of nature without judging those robins you see every morning. This one's called Sudden Shower. Black grows the southern clouds betokening rain, and humming hive bees homeward hurry by. They feel the change, so let us shun the grain and take the broad road while our feet are dry. Aye, there some dropples moistened in my face and pattered on my hat. It's coming nigh. Let's look about and find a sheltering place. The little things around like you and I are hurrying through the grass to shun the shower. Here, stoops and ash, hark, the wind gets high. But never mind, it's ivy for an hour. Rain as it may will keep us dry here. That little wren knows well his sheltering bower, nor leaves his dry house, though we come so near.